When adding decimals, you need to make sure that you line your decimals up. And then you add like normal. And bring your decimal straight down. And since there are two negative numbers, my answer is negative. And you use zeros as your placeholders. And my answer is negative 18.52. When subtracting decimal numbers, you line them up just like you would in addition. And you use zeros as placeholders again. And then you subtract like normal. And then you bring straight down your decimal. 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. And my answer is 12.79. When multiplying decimals, you do not line up the decimal, you line up the digits. And then you would just multiply like normal. 2 times 7 is 14. And 7 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. And 7 times 4 is 28. And then to find out where you put your decimal point, count how many spots the decimal is over. So 1, 2, 3, 2 plus 1 equals 3. So you put it over 3 places. And your answer is 2.814. Dividing decimals, you have to put your divisor on the outside, and then you would just and then you have to put your decimal place to the end on the side of the divisor and move the decimal on the dividend side the same amount of spaces. Then you need to put your decimal directly up, and then you divide like normal. 2 can't go into 1. 2 can go into 10 5 times. 10, 0, bring down the 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. And my answer is 5.3. When solving equations with decimals, you basically do exactly what you would do when you're solving equations without decimals. So this is a subtraction problem, and I want to get just my variables, so I would put plus 5.8 because addition undoes subtraction. And wherever I do to that side, I do to this side. So on this side, I would put plus 5.8. And then I would just add my decimals like normal. So my answer would be W equals 10 and then 5, 6, 7, 7.0, also 7. So once again, I'm solving equations with decimals. But when you are solving equations with decimals, you are basically just solving an equation like if there were no decimals. And this time, unlike last time, is an addition problem. So subtract undoes addition. So I would subtract 3.91, so that erases that, and then what I do to that side, I must do to this side. So then I would subtract 3.91 again. and then that would mean k equals 9 point, or scratch that, k would equal 24.09. So in order to solve this equation, I would go 1.2y equals negative 1.44, and then I would divide 1.2 over 1.2, which scratches that out, and then over here I would put over 1.2, and then my answer would be y, and then I would divide this. It's negative, so my answer is going to be negative, and then I would put 1.2 divided by 1.44. And then 0, and then, bring my decimals over. Go straight up after I move it over, and then this goes in one time. 2 left over, bring down the 4, that's 24, that's 2 times, and my answer would then be y equals negative 1.2. So in order to solve this equation, I would rewrite my problem, and then multiplication undoes division. So I'll multiply it by 8.2, that scratches that out. Multiply this by 8.2, and then my answer would be 8.2 times 0.6. Rewrite that over here. And then I count how many decimal spots that is, so it's 2 places, and then this was negative, so my answer is negative, so my answer would be negative 4.92, n equals negative 4.92. And adding decimals that have the same denominator, you would just add like normal, 6 over 15 plus 3 over 15, but you rewrite it like this. And then your answer would be 9 over 15, and then you would simplify it. And my answer would be 3 over 5. So in order to subtract fractions with different denominators, you need to figure out what the least common denominator is. And the least common denominator of 24 and 2 is 24. And so then I leave 21 over 24 the same. And then I multiply 2 by how many times it goes into 24. So 2 times 12. And whatever I do down here, I have to do up here. So 1 times 12 equals 12 over 24. And then I would get 21 over 24 minus 12 over 24 equals 9 over 24. And then I would simplify it. and my answer would be 3/8. So in order to multiply 1/4 times -2/3, I would write it 1/4 times -2/3, just like it's shown up there. And then I would multiply 1 times -2 over 4 times 3. And then you would cross divide. So 2 goes into 2 one time, so then that's -1. And 2 goes into 4 2 times. And so then I would multiply it. 1 times -1 equals -1. And 2 times 3 equals 6. And then my answer would be -1/6. So to divide fractions, I'm going to rewrite it down here. And then I would flip the second fraction and change the divide sign into a multiplication. So I would write 3/4 times 7/6, and then I'd rewrite it like this into one fraction, and then I would cross cancel, and then 1 times 7 is 7, 4 times 2 is 8, and my answer would be 7/8. So in order to solve m plus 1/6 equals 5/6. In order to solve this equation, I have to inverse operate. So I would subtract 1/6, which crosses this out, and subtract 1/6 on this side, and then my answer would be m equals 5/6 minus 1/6, which equals 5 minus 1/6, which equals 4/6. And then I can divide that by 2, and my answer is 2/3. So in order to solve the equation n minus 1/5 equals 3/5, I have to inverse operate just like in the last one, but this one I will add instead of subtract. So I will add 1/5, which crosses that out. I will add 1/5 to 3/5, and then my answer would be n equals 3/5 plus 1/5, which equals 3 plus 1/5, which equals 4/5, and that's my answer. So in order to solve the equation 1/5 times x equals 4, then I would need to multiply 1/5 by its reciprocal, which is 5/1, and multiply 4, or 4/1, times 5/1. And then that crossed that out, so then my answer would be x equals 4/1 times 5/1, which equals 4 times 5/1 times 1, which equals 20/1, which equals 20. And that's my answer. So in order to solve the equation, 6/1 times y equals half, I would multiply 6 over 1 by its reciprocal, 1 over 6, and that would cross that out, and then I would multiply a half times 1 over 6, and then my answer would be y equals 1 times 1 over 2 times 6, which equals 1 over 12.